Well, good evening, greetings, and salutations. This is Passionate Bliss, and I'm here again tonight with questions, comments, useless facts about me, thoughts, opinions, and my full video will always be on my YouTube channel. My questions tonight arise from the recent things that took place on Basketball Wives, which I do not watch. But I have been walking through the YouTube streets and I've seen enough reports and enough clips to have a general idea of what's going on there. The topic that people were really going over and over was the colorism. I have discussed colorism before multiple times, but it was always coming from men. I never did address colorism that exists between women. So my questions are these. Do women really discriminate against each other for colorism? What is colorism? And what is at the root of it? What is the real root and the real cause and the real source of colorism? Okay? And I actually didn't have a comment tonight about colorism because we'll be going through definitions. I like my definitions, y'all. Okay? And the scenario that went down between OG and some of the others on the show. Okay? My biggest disappointment, I think, of all was in Shawnee because I didn't realize the nature of her character. Okay, I thought that she was the more level-headed one, the more educated one. I thought she was kind of like the guiding anchor of the show, you know, the stabilizing force, but she's not. And I could see now that she's not. Now I see why Tammy unfriended her. Because when Tammy left the show, I said, well, I definitely won't be watching now that Tammy's gone. She was my favorite character. And so I would peep in every now and then if I saw something that looked interesting, you know, based on clips here and there. But I never was a big fan of Basketball Wives because those women were just basketball wives. They were discarded wives of ball players, okay? And they seemed to have no role outside of that. I didn't see where they were, you know, particularly educated. I didn't see where they particularly had successful businesses. I didn't see where they particularly were, you know, active in their community. And so maybe that was going on, but it wasn't highlighted. They were just discarded decorations that these men had on their arms at one point. And so I never had a lot of respect for basketball wives because that's all they were, you know, which if that's what you want to be, that's great. But it's not anything that I'm going to be envious of because I would, you know, be more focused on me and what I have going on in my life and what it means. Case in point, when Evelyn got into it with OG, and thumped on her vagina like some type of gorilla in the mist. This is the thing she said. She said, I have kids, I have good credit, and I have good nookie. That's all she said were her accomplishments. And I think that's the root cause of what's wrong with Evelyn and Cece, because Cece is educated, she's accomplished, she has her own business outside of her husband, who actually wants to marry her, okay, and appears to love her. And then I think that's her issue with OG, because OG, you know, still has a man, but OG is a professional, and she has many ventures that she can venture off into when she's done with her football career, you know, and her man still claims her at least. Okay, and I think that's her issue with Jackie as well. Jackie's husband adores her. He marries her again every year, you know. Jackie has several businesses, you know. Jackie has adult children. Jackie's, you know, a businesswoman in her own right. And I really think that is what Evelyn Lozada's issue is with OG and those other women. They're more than just decoration, and her decoration is getting faded. Her decoration is fading. Okay, the very thing she was most important for is fading away with time. And that's her real issue. That's her real issue, I think, at the end of the day with OG. And Shawnee, I think, is Evelyn's friend because she's decoration as well, although she has some business accomplishments. But I believe that Evelyn says what Shawnee is too afraid to say. She's too cowardly to say. And Shawnee, I believe, plays the bed wench who does the master's bidding. And that came through with this whole colorism thing. The whole colorism thing. She allowed it, said nothing to Evelyn about it, called her ugly repeatedly, attacked her. Shawnee said nothing and sat there. She allowed it. She allowed it. But what they couldn't stand, and why OG is actually fired, is that they couldn't phase her because her parents did a magnificent job, for sure. They taught their daughter self-love. OG was the epitome of self-love on that show, and they could not crack her facade. That's what they couldn't stand. Self-love and appreciation of one's own worth. Okay, first of all, you have to be worth something. Okay, her parents instilled in her that she was worth something, and on her own, without a man, she achieved things. She achieved her own worth, financially independent. Okay, without a man, she had worth. So she had self-love, and they couldn't crack it. They couldn't shake it. Okay, self-esteem. Self-esteem, confidence in one's worth and or abilities. Okay, OG knew that she was a beast on that field. Okay, she knew what her abilities are. OG's a quick thinker. Okay, OG can do whatever she decides to do. She has other ventures that she's going out into, coaching, other ventures, you know. And hopefully this show hasn't damaged her reputation, because Shawnee, I think, may bear some civil liability for continuing to push that image that she's aggressive. So if I was OG, I would look into that to see if there's any civil liability for pushing that aggression image when she had actually done nothing aggressive. I never saw security hold her back. I never saw her jump, throw, do anything. So to push that image of aggression, I wonder if there's some civil liability that Shawnee has there. Okay. Now, she may have made threats, but she only made threats when people threatened her. Or she would say, you don't want this. We're not in the same weight class. I will break you. That's what she was warning. Those were warnings to me. They looked like warnings. And I believe they were heeded, because not a soul came for OG. Okay, and so I wonder if Shawnee bears any civil liability in those statements and pushing that agenda and that idea, so that she would have some kind of reason to get rid of a person that she couldn't handle, to get rid of a person that Evelyn Lozada couldn't handle. Okay, the only thing interesting on her show. Okay, they fired her. Okay, what was the other thing that OG exemplified? Self-respect. Self-respect. What's the definition of that? Pride and confidence in oneself. OG was very proud of herself. Even if she had on an ugly hat, an ugly bathing suit, ugly shoes, she was proud of herself in it, honey. And God bless her. Okay? Pride and confidence in oneself. Self-respect. Feeling one is behaving with honor and dignity. Now, she may have waffled on that in the end. When those girls got her so worked up that she was yelling in her face, she waffled on that a little bit in the end. She didn't need to rein that in. Okay, because we got in Kristen's face and yelled in Kristen's face. Kristen didn't know what to do. Okay, so they were scared, even though she hadn't touched one of them. They were all scared of her, and she could have done without that. She should have maintained her cool like she did most of the time. Okay, and the one thing that Evelyn and Shawnee took pride in, I believe, their colorism, their light skin, their fair hair, their beauty. OG knocked that out the park at the end too. She said, but Chad wanted me. Your man wanted me. You don't think I'm beautiful? You think I look like a monkey? Your man don't. Okay, and the one thing she thought she had was her beauty and her attraction to men. OG bust that bubble too. Okay, so OG had to go. OG was going. She was going, but she was the best thing I ever seen on that show. Her and Tammy. OG was the best thing that came on that show, because she completely exemplified a black queen. Self-love, self-esteem, self-respect, self-worth that they could not shake. They could not shake, and desirability. In the end, she showed them desirability, because black men want black women. I'm going to tell you that right now. They are genetically designed to want us. Okay? So these carbon copies, clones, okay? Afro-Latina, my backside. No, you Latina. Okay, and that's nice. But Ocho was with you, and he still wanted that dark black sister from Africa, right? Because that's what they really want. They get you all as trophies and arm pieces until you start to sag, like Evelyn is sagging right now. But they really want that dark black sister. That's who they really want. With all that tie-dye going on. That's what they really want. You had to buy some tie-dye, I understand. But no, OG came from the motherland with all that tie-dye. And you had to buy none of it. Okay? Okay? So, I'm very proud of OG and how she represented on the show. She outshone all of them. All of them, she outshone them. And that's what they couldn't stand. That's why OG's fired. Okay? Okay, colorism, what's that? Prejudice, discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone. Were they prejudiced against OG? Yes. Prejudice, preconceived opinion based on no reason or experience. Prejudice. They raised up prejudice that she was violent. Based on who did she hit? Based on who did she touch? Based on what did she throw? Based on who on security said they had to hold her back. Prejudice, preconceived opinion that she's violent with no evidence of that. So they were prejudiced. Colorism is prejudice and discrimination. So did they practice colorism? Yes, they did. Because they were prejudiced against her. Discrimination, unjust or prejudicial treatment, singled out, marked as distinct. Okay, discrimination, unjust, prejudicial treatment. So would you say separating her from the others during that reunion, was that just when she had not been nonviolent to anyone? Was that just when she hadn't thrown or jumped at anyone? She was never held back by anyone. So was it just to say we're separating her for her violence when there had been no violence? Was that just treatment? Was she singled out? Was she singled out? The only one. She's the only one on that panel that never threw anything besides Shawnee. Okay, but she was singled out as distinct. Okay? Okay. And she had that dark skin tone. Typically, colorism takes place among people of the same ethnic or racial group, except Evelyn. She is not black, as OG clarified. You're not black and you never will be. You're not black and you never will be. Okay. So in this particular case, Shawnee was the bed wench, a term I've never called another woman. She was the bed wench doing the master's bidding, practicing colorism against someone of her own race, and Shawnee's race is ambiguous as well. I don't know what Shawnee's race is. Okay. Doing the master's bidding. It's kind of like what I talked about the other day. Brainwashing. Stockholm Syndrome. Will we ever be free of the psychological damage of bondage, brutality, slavery? Will we ever be free of it? Not if we keep watching Basketball Wives, because they are practicing it for the slave master who is dead and gone. But we got black people practicing it for him. Colorism. Example number 1, Basketball Wives, which I will never watch again. Which, unless they bring back a dark chocolate sister who can run them like OG ran them. Okay? So she got a little rough in the end, but OG was a role model on that show. Self-love, self-esteem, self-respect, okay, pride, confident, with worth and abilities, which made her so. So our little black girls, that's what I want you to take away from this. They tried to bring her down, and she would not. Her parents did an excellent job. Her parents, I will give that credit to her parents. Did an excellent job. They sent their baby out there prepared, and she showed out. Well done. Well done to her parents, and well done to OG. You're meant for bigger and better things, and you're going to have them. Y'all have sweet dreams. Wait to find them all real.